Good evening. I would like to call the Monday, April 18th, 2022 Orange Board of Education meeting to order at 7:02. Could we all stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tatiana, would you be kind enough to read the mission statement, please?
The Orange Elementary School District recognizes that the education of each child is the shared responsibility of every member of our community. Our goal is to inspire.
Your mic's not right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our goal is to inspire and empower each student to achieve academic excellence, embrace social and individual responsibility, and lead with integrity. We believe all individuals should be valued and treated with respect. Together, we will make a difference.
Thank you very much. I do not see any public participation, correct? Very well. I will be looking for a motion to accept the items under the consent agenda. The items are the regular session minutes from the March 21st, 2022 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the March 21st, 2022 Board of Education meeting? Susan? Ken, did you second? Yes, sir. Ken? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Cheryl, I'm abstaining. Okay. Special sessions minutes from the March 28th, 2022 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the March 28th, 2022 Board of Education special meeting? Ken Vitale? Betty? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? You good, Cheryl? Okay, we will move right along to Dr. Scarpetti's report.
Good evening, Mr. Crow and the rest of the board members. Welcome. I hope all of you who had a vacation break enjoyed it. Again, I want to wish the families at home that they had a safe and enjoyable break. Today, I was just sharing with a board member before the meeting. Someone came up to me today and said, Vince, can you believe there's 42 days left of school? And I think for those of us that are that have been teachers and educators, usually after spring break, it goes by extremely quick. You may recall at the last board meeting, as you know, we've transitioned well with the mask wearing as an option. But from that, a lot of parents were asking questions, well, what about the end of the year activities? And those requests have come. The board has already approved an out-of-state field trip. Many other field trips that are in-state have been occurring. And there's just other events that are nice that are occurring. Something small from the Chips Pancake Dinner that occurred at Peck Place School, or even bigger events. The biggest event that we've had that had a large amount of a crowd has been the MLT Fair. It was done very well. Again, thanks to the PTO at MLT that conducted that. They had 2 different sessions. As a reminder, there's a process in place in which we want to make sure that we ensure the safety of our staff, our students, and our parents when engaging in these activities. So we're following that process. As I shared, it's not only school events, but community events. So the Cub Scouts had their blue and gold dinner, which was nice to attend. They did had a mock last year outside. This was inside. Ms. Riccio and I, we attended an ACES event that was postponed or not occurred because of the pandemic. So more and more we're seeing elements that we've missed over the past 2 years embedded again in our community. The one thing that I think came up, I believe at a subcommittee meeting, was the Olympics. That's been something that has been a desire to implement once again. Again, that's grades for 5 and 6. Mr. Onay, which many of you know, has again committed to doing that this year, so that's exciting that we're going to have that again. That's going to occur June 8th with the rain date of June 9th. Not only are we looking at fun events, Some people may see this as fun too, but smarter balance assessments are occurring. So Dr. Russo will bring you an update with that. I also included an email to the board, and just as a reminder for anyone listening at home, the Orangetown budget hearing will be held this Thursday, April 21st. That's at 7 p.m. And I think that all of you received this, but if you haven't, Mr. Gray's I asked him to share this in the update, but our budget that's proposed is a 3.06% increase. We extend our gratitude to the Board of Finance that has assisted us with some capital items, and again, Mr. Gray will go over that in a moment. And then as far as personnel, I did share that with the board, but the principal posting for MLT will end this week. Currently, we have 24 applicants, and that ends my report, Mr. Crow.
Any questions for Dr. Scarpetti? Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Gray?
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with an update on grants. The first grant I'd like to update you on is the American Rescue Plan Individuals with Disabilities Education Act Part B grant. This is a grant that we were allocated $72,921 for in the first year. The purpose of this grant is to provide programs through federal entitlement funds to assist with the excess cost of providing special education and related services to children with disabilities. To date, $8,000 has been committed for in-person professional development around restorative practices. Restorative practices provide students with and caring adults with an intentional, inclusive, and respectful way of thinking about, talking about, and responding to issues or problems that arise. We also have the Elementary Secondary Schools Emergency Relief Funds, or SR2 Special Education Recovery Grant. Orange was allocated $60,200 for this grant. And this grant is intended to assist school districts with addressing delayed, interrupted, suspended, or inaccessible IEP supports and services for students. Orange intends to use the funds to provide students with supports and services to remediate literacy, mathematics, and social emotional skills. To date, $6,750 has been committed for training to provide supplemental services in the form of tutoring for those students experiencing challenges due to dyslexia. And $30,000 has recently been committed for job-embedded support, coaching, modeling, co-teaching, and instructional refinement. We also have another SR2, Emergency Secondary Schools, Elementary Secondary Schools Emergency Relief Funds SR2 grant, and Emergency Secondary Schools Emergency Relief 3 grant. The SR2 grant is a $164,000 allocation, and to date, $38,000 of that was spent, and that was mainly on supplies for summer school last year. Our SR3 grant, we were allocated $326,000, and about $94,000 of that has been spent, again, through summer school, but that was mainly for salaries last year. We're now gearing up to fund the 21-22 summer school program using both of these grants. As Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, the Board of Finance graciously funded several Board of Education budget items out of the capital fund. Those items include a $72,000 allocation for the purchase of Chromebooks for our one-to-one computing. There's a $42,012 allocated for the increase of internet bandwidth, which goes hand in hand with our one-to-one computing. Having more computers means we need more bandwidth for the students to be on at the same time. And finally, $31,500 was allocated to upgrade some school security and safety measures within the district. This funding brings the final Board of Education budget to $22,683,860, which is an increase of 3.06% over the prior year. And as Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, he'll be presenting this budget to the at the town budget hearing this Thursday, the 21st at High Plains Community Center. And finally, food services. In early April, the Orange Schools accepted $27,169 in supply chain assistance funds to purchase unprocessed or minimally processed American-sourced food products for a school nutrition program. The USDA has allocated these funds to alleviate supply chain disruptions in school meal programs. These funds can be used in May and June of this school year, and there's a possibility that we'll be able to use any remaining funds in September when we return in the new school year. And that concludes the finance and operations portion of my report.
Any questions for Mr. Gray? Betty?
I know that I think I heard you talk about the fact that there was some need for additional tutoring, and there was training for that sort of things that are being, some of the money from the grant is being spent on. Is there any thought of actually getting an additional part-time personnel to do some of the tutoring, or using any of this money?
So I would defer to
So part of the grant funding is to help with the social emotional development of our children, and so we are looking to engage in some consultation services for next year, using the funds to really focus in on increasing our services to children around that in particular.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else for Mr. Gray? Tatiana, please.
Mr. Gray, you may have already touched upon this, and I apologize if I missed it, but I know we had spoken previously about the free lunch program. I'd seen some things on the news that it may not be available for next year. Do you have any comment about that?
Sure. So the federal government, there was a plan to fund that for next year, but the federal government, it did not make it into the $1 trillion budget that was set. So at this point, at the federal level, it's not going to be funded, from what I've heard. At the state level, there are still some discussion about the fact that school lunch should be a normal part of the day, just like your books or, any other instructional devices should be part of your school day. So I know there's still talk about that. I don't know if that will happen at the state level. But at this point, I would probably lean towards there won't be free lunch next year based on what happened at the federal level. You're welcome.
Anyone else for Mr. Gray? Very well. Mr. Gray, you want to move on to your second report?
Sure. So the second report is facilities, and I'll start with the Mary L. Tracy HVAC project. We've undertaken the project to remove and replace 3 of the rooftop units right outside the window over here as another step in upgrading the HVAC systems at our schools. Previously, 3 rooftop units were installed at 2 of our other schools. There were 2 units removed and replaced at Racebrook School and 1 at Turkey Hill School. The units here at Mary L. Tracy that will be removed and replaced were installed in 1989. They have far surpassed their life expectancy. This project was approved by the Board of Finance and was put out to bid in February. At our March 9th meeting, the Board of Selectmen unanimously approved the recommended bid, and the project materials have been ordered. We will probably wait until the end of the school year to do this, only because this project is going to require the use of cranes and rigging to remove the units from the rooftop and replace them from the front of the building. So it's something that we'll probably try to do between the end of school and the beginning of summer school so that no one's around when we do that. Also within HVAC, during the spring recess, we conducted another filter change. All of the filters for classroom univentilators, air handling units, and rooftop units were removed. They were replaced with the newer filters. Inside of all the unit ventilators in the classrooms were vacuumed out, and all of the bearings in the motor units were greased to prolong life and help with the efficiency of the running of the motors. And finally, sprinkler inspections. Fire protection testing recently conducted the quarterly fire sprinkler system inspections at each of our schools. There were no deficiencies discovered during the inspections, and all the systems are working properly. It was recommended that a 5th-year obstruction and internal valve alarm inspection for the sprinkler systems at both Mary L. Tracy School and Peck Place School be scheduled, and those have since been scheduled and will be completed. And that concludes the facilities report.
Sure. Any questions for Mr. Gray? Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you.
Dr. Russo?
Good evening. It's on green, right, or red? Green. I'll start with summer learning updates. As you know, registration began April 1st. Registrations are open till May 1st. So far, well, we have 252 classes currently being offered, and to date, students have signed up for 230 of these. 131 students have signed up for sessions, and 965 seats have been filled so far. A few parents called needing some help with changes, and those were all addressed today. If anyone needs any help with registering, please reach out to Jane Gallagher, my administrative assistant. Her contact information is on the summer learning brochure. So on May 2nd, we plan to really start the planning, purchasing the resources, and just firming all the plans up for summer. As Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, for Smarter Balance assessments, our testing window opens tomorrow, April 19th, and for our district, it will end on May 11th, with plenty of time for makeup afterward. In addition, we've started our kindergarten meet and greets. All registered kindergartners will have an opportunity to interact with our staff and to engage in some pre-literacy and oral language experiences that will help us in creating conditions for kindergarten success in the fall. And these experiences include game-like tasks with words and storybook embedded activities. The first round of meetings occurred on Thursday, April 7th, from 9 to 2 prior to vacation. We have additional sessions scheduled for Thursday, April 21st, and Thursday, April 28th. If any incoming kindergarten student hasn't yet had an opportunity to schedule a meeting, please contact the MLT office staff to schedule a session. And finally, our Professional Development Evaluation Committee, or PDEC, will engage in its third and final meeting for the year to discuss 2 items on Monday, next year's professional learning calendar and next year's Connecticut State Department of Education teacher evaluation flexibilities. And that's it.
We may already do this. Would it be possible to send out a reminder to parents for
Sure.
the summer school deadline,
Yes.
along with specifically the contact name and person?
Yes, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Anyone else have a question for Dr. Russo? Tatiana?
Dr. Russo, this past year, and I believe it's because of COVID, the new kindergartners coming in didn't have an opportunity to do the meet and greet. There was something in June, I believe, where they came in and took some literacy tests. Is this, for this year, the meet and greet that is being scheduled, is that something that takes the place of what we did this past year in June with the new kindergartners, or is that in addition to?
It's the same thing.
Gotcha, thank you.
Same thing, except we're starting earlier.
I see. Okay, and it seems like it's more involved, being that the students will have an opportunity to meet a lot of the staff. Is that exactly what it is, where because of COVID, the kindergartners coming in this past year didn't have that opportunity, but this year, because the restrictions have been lifted, there's more involved, I would assume.
So last year, it was just 3 people and myself.
Yes.
This year, the classroom aides are all helping. They've all been trained on how to engage in the tasks, and so we have more staff interacting and meeting the students.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Susan?
I don't know if this is part of your report, but I'll ask it anyway. About what are our numbers for kindergartners right now? Do we have increased enrollment so far?
We're good.
Okay.
We're about 150 right now.
Okay, thank you.
What was our estimated number?
150.
Yes, we estimate we'll get more with some of those.
So we have a few months left, Mr. Kraut, so we'll
Yeah.
see what occurs with that.
Okay.
Again, as a reminder for our new board members and people watching at home, due to the support of the board, we used to have part-time aides in our classrooms. Through this transition, especially during the pandemic, we have full-time aides. So that's an aide that's assigned to that specific classroom, They're not moving from class to class. We're developing essential skills with those aides, not just as a helper, which is typically needed about bathroom, tying shoes, zippering. We're extended that training with our aides to reading and math. We see a profound difference with regards to what we've done with that. And so we'll see what the needs are. I know a question has come up during the budget. We had to cohort our classes during the pandemic. So again, if a child enters Mary L. Tracy, but their home school is Turkey Hill School, all the Turkey Hill students would remain in the same class, Racebrook and Peck. Because of that, there was, you couldn't just take 150 divided by 9 classrooms and see what the class average was. We are doing what we did prior to the pandemic, where we're putting 2 schools together. So it could be Turkey Hill and Racebrook in one classroom, Turkey Hill and Peck, Peck and Racebrook. So that will balance out the classrooms, especially if new students come, which they typically come throughout the year.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Tatiana. Sure.
Dr. Scarpetti, when you say an aide per each classroom that is stable and not, moving around, is that the same thing as an assistant teacher, or is that in addition to the assistant teacher?
So it depends. So let me take a step back. When I first arrived here, you may have heard the term paraprofessionals.
Yes.
So the district that I worked previously, a paraprofessional would mean someone who falls under special education or regular education. Here in Orange, paraprofessionals, if you hear someone referred to as a paraprofessional, that's under the special education. When they're an aide, it is for regular education.
Gotcha. And that's different than the assistant teacher, or is that?
It's the same.
Same, okay.
It's the same.
Thank you.
Mr. Ziman?
Dr. Russo, I was just wondering, do we give the parents any information about how they can prepare their child for kindergarten?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was speaking at Cabinet today with the team, and we discussed the possibility of, for the incoming kindergartners, having some sessions for parents on what to expect the kindergarten year and some things that parents can do at home to prepare their students, or our students, their children.
Anyone else for Dr. Russo? Very well. Thank you, Doctor. All right. That's it for the superintendent's report. So we will now move on to board business. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't on here. Oh, I'm very sorry.
No need to apologize. Good evening, everyone. I'm tiny, so it may be hard to see me. The Special Education Department continues to prepare for the new statewide IEP, or Individual Education Plan, called Connecticut CT SEDS, or Connecticut Special Education Data System. Select staff will participate in a 4-hour train the trainer session over the summer, and I'm happy to say that all of the staff, each school has 2 designated staff members who have been willing to do the training over the summer to prepare for putting the IEPs and 504 plans into the new system throughout next school year. We also plan to offer a parent training session once we have more information. I anticipate that to happen probably at the beginning of next school year. And our technology team, true to their hard work, is helping to assist with doing the data integration system from CT SEDS and the student information system into that new platform. We also continue to plan the extended school year ESY program for eligible students who receive special education services, and individuals interested in working the summer program are encouraged to reach out to the Special Services Department and apply. And that's it for my report.
Any questions for Mrs. Ito? Thank you. All right, moving on to board business. Before we get into the teeth of the board business, I just want to bring the board up to date on our negotiations. We still have a negotiation in process with the paraprofessionals, and we have one scheduled for May 2nd. We want to proceed with that, but Betty will not be available. So what I've done is, in consultation with Susan and Jeff, I'd like to ask Susan to join me in the negotiations to have a second representative at the negotiations. I don't think it would be right for myself to be the only representative to the board. Susan has graciously accepted. So if it's all right with everybody here, Susan is going to fill in for Betty for that particular negotiation. Anyone have any questions about that? Otherwise, we would have to further extend that negotiation into June, and Betty and I both agree we don't really want to do that. I know Dr. Scarpetti does, but we don't. So if anyone has any problems with it, please let us know, but Susan will be joining me. All right? Thank you. Okay, so operational memorandum number 05-20- process for submitting the healthy food certification statement for the school year of 2022-2023. In pursuant to CGS Section 10-215F, I am asking for a motion that the Orange Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutritional standards during the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and fundraising activities on the school premises, sponsored by the school or non-school organizations and groups. For those of you who've been here for a while, this is basically standard fare. We have to do this every year. So I'm looking for a motion to accept that. Susan, do I have a second? Ronette, any further discussion on this particular motion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Part B. I am asking for a motion for the Orange Board of Education to allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutritional standards and beverages not listed in Section 1022(1)Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. The sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. The sale is at the location of the event, and the food and beverage items are not sold from vending machines or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just regular scheduled practice, meetings, or extracurricular activities. For example, soccer games, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held. Do I have a motion? Susan again, second. Liz? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Very good. Okay, we have a policy first read. First read 418.21, 418. Academic freedom. We have another first read. First read 6112, school day. So we will be looking to vote on those policies in the, what is it, April? May. The May meeting. Okay? So if you have any questions, please contact Betty, Dr. Scarpetti, or myself. Now we'll move on to a second read. Second read 3541.22, transportation drivers. Do I have a motion to accept policy 3541.22, transportation drivers, as presented? Betty? Second. Ken Vitale. Any discussion on this particular policy? Questions? Tatiana?
I just have one question. I know it was brought up previously. Regarding the background checks, do we know how far back those go? Okay.
The background checks of
The drivers,
That's what this policy is pertaining to.
the drivers, you're right. The school bus drivers.
Yeah, I think that, what we have is a unique situation. Most of our drivers that drive for the district are consistent, but I think to your point, if they do it 20 years ago, has anything happened in the last 20 years that something would have occurred?
So you think it goes back farther than 7, for instance? You think it's,
We'll check, but I think I realize why you're asking me, because again, say if I've been a bus driver and I'm an owner or an operator, which is unique to Orange, and they've been a blessing of having that consistency, doesn't mean that something could have happened within the past 10 years.
right.
So we could look that up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this policy? All right. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Second read, policy 4111.1/4211.1, equal employment opportunity. Do I have a motion to accept policy 4111.1/4211.1, equal employment opportunity, as presented? Ronette, second. Liz, any discussion on this policy? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Second read, policy 4112.6/4212.6, personnel records. Do I have a motion to accept policy 4112.6/4212.6, personnel records, as presented? Ken? I'm sorry. Ken Ziman. Second. Susan? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Second read policy 4112.8/4212.8, nepotism. Do I have a motion to accept policy 4112.8/4212.8, nepotism, as presented? Ken, second. Ronette, Ken Ziman, sorry. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Almost, guys, I'm almost there. Second read policy 4118.14, non-discrimination on the basis of disabilities. Do I have a motion to accept 4118.14, non-discrimination on the basis of disabilities, as presented? Susan, second. Ronette, any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Second read policy 1212-school volunteers. Do I have a motion to accept policy 1212, school and volunteers, as presented? Tatiana? Betty? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? All right, I have one question. Why weren't these second reads presented at the last meeting when Mr. Cap was chairman?
It was a first.
I would like an investigation into that. I think Mr. Cap had something to do with that. Okay, thank you all for your patience. All right, standing committees. Finance and Operations, Ms. Riccio.
The Finance and Operations Subcommittee met prior to this meeting. Everything is in order. A couple things to note is that while school lunches are free, and Mr. Gray did mention that we may not have them free for next year, please continue to get the lunches while they're free. And we are operating within budget, and everything else is good.
Thank you, and I would like to extend a thank you to the cafeteria staff. Obviously, they're doing a great job. The kids are enjoying the meals, and honestly, you know, when we have them bring food into us, it's just, they hit it out of the park all the time, and they're just available to us all the time. I do appreciate it, so please extend that thanks to them if you would, Mr. Gray. Personnel, Mrs. Hadlock.
The Personnel and Policy Committee met on March 28th. First of all, I want to thank those members of the board who have reached out to ask questions or get more information. Please don't hesitate to do that. You recall that we voted to suspend the masking policy at our last regular meeting in March, but I stated that we would review it further at our next meeting. The committee did do that, and we recommend leaving the masking policy in suspension at this time. I don't think we need to vote on that again, but I just wanted to let people know that after further discussion, we decided there was not any point in spending any time on that at this time.
Any questions for Mrs. Hadlock? Very well, thank you, Betty. Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Cap.
The only thing I can report on, in addition to what Mr. Gray has already reported for us, is that we are scheduling our next meeting for Tuesday, May 3rd. And it will be around 5:30 or 6 p.m., but we will let everyone know.
Thank you, Mr. Cap. Curriculum, Mr. Ziman.
We did not have a meeting for this month, but we will be having a meeting on Tuesday, May 3rd at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ziman? Very well. ACES, Ms. Riccio.
The ACES board meeting did not happen yet. It's on Thursday, so I will give you a double one next time, because usually the ACES meetings are before this meeting. So I'll give you April and May next month. But I did want to note that, as Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, we did attend the ACES Gala for the ACES Foundation, and they raised $175,000 to give back to the schools and programs. So that's all enhancement stuff. So I think I contributed a significant chunk of that as well.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Riccio? Very well. Dr. Scarpetti, would you be kind enough to repeat the time and date for the budget hearing?
That's this Thursday, and that is... Absolutely. This Thursday at 7 p.m., Mr. Crowe. Again, that's at High Plains Community Center. It's the room to the left, but this Thursday.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right, unless we have any other business, but I don't believe we do. Susan has made the motion to adjourn, and Mr. Ziman has seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor? Yeah. No, it's not, and I don't think I could get through them if there were. Any further discussion on adjournment? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Very well. We are adjourned at 7:41. Thank you all.